that I don't need any more negativity from negative people, because I can do bad all by myself. I don't need help to help me to do bad. I don't need help to defeat myself and to beat myself up for what I don't have. I don't need help to tell myself that I'm worthless. I don't need help to do that, because I'm already fighting a battle myself. And if I have to fight a battle with someone else that is trying to lead me down that path, my brothers and sisters, I can do bad all by myself, and so can you. Be around people that uplifts you, people that believe in you, people that believe in themselves through the power of the living God. So remember, there's so much that you can do. Have faith. You are capable of great things. And if someone tells you that you're not, that's a lie from the pits of hell. We can do all things. We just have to remember his will, his way, my faith. And you can ask God every day to help you to increase your faith. Whatever it is that you're going through, it might not be cancer, it might not be divorce, it could be drugs, it could be alcohol, it could be some other vice, but there is a way out. But you have to go through that faith door. You have to walk by faith and not by sight, because sight might tell you, I cannot see the way out. But faith says there is a way out, and through perseverance, we can find that way. And through Christ, we can do all things, my brothers and sisters. Remember, God loves you, and you can make it. You got to realize that you can make it if you try. There's a way out of your mess, and it's JESUS, talking about faith.
Where can you buy a brand new Nissan with a lifetime warranty? Kingston Pike. Hey folks, Gerald Anderson with Ted Russell Nissan. You heard it right. Every new Ted Russell Nissan comes with a lifetime warranty, and that's a long, long time. Ted Russell Nissan on Kingston Pike.
Good morning and welcome to AM 1380 WYSH and Ask Your Neighbor. Ask Your Neighbor can also be heard and seen on our website, WYSHradio.com. And if you are in Anderson, Roane, or Morgan County and have Comcast cable, you can watch Ask Your Neighbor on BBB TV Channel 12. Ask Your Neighbor is the program where you call in and do just that. Ask Your Neighbor. Do you have a comment? Do you have a problem? Or do you have a question? Then call in and ask your neighbor. 865-457-1380 or toll free at 877-711-4005. And for those of you that might be listening or watching on the internet, you can email from our website, WYSHradio.com. Just click on the Contact Us button and email your questions. Now sit back and listen as listeners throughout East Tennessee and the entire world answer your questions on Ask Your Neighbor on BBB TV 12 and AM 1380 WYSH.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome into Ask Your Neighbor, Thursday edition. David West, stars and stories of the Caz Walker Show, the Three Musketeers, live and live in color. Good morning, boys. Howdy, and mighty fine.
We got the crew.
The crew.
Musketeers.
I don't know what crew.
On the job.
I don't know what crew we have, but we do have a crew.
It's my favorite crew of all.
Well, there you go. Mine, too. Howdy, fellas. What's going on? It's been a long time. I feel like I ain't seen you in a month. It's been 2 weeks.
2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Something like that.
Is your weather good over there?
Oh yeah, we had great. We had great weather. I don't think we had rain one day. So it was nice. It was cool 1 or 2 days or evenings. You know, cool but very comfortable. Still could do whatever you wanted to do. It was
That's
nice.
great.
Yeah, it was. It was good. I was telling them all other than my automotive problems, where I had to put a new fuel pump on the car down there.
Oh no.
Yeah, then mobile mechanic. Well, somebody put a fuel pump on it. They broke it. That's what they did. They didn't fix it. They broke it. Even worse. And so then I had to get another mechanic to fix the other mechanic stuff. So it was.
Oh, that's always fun.
Oh, you know, it just
Did Anderson County get any of that hail a couple weeks ago? About a week and a half ago.
Are you kicking that bottom with your foot?
I am not.
Okay.
No.
Something was clicking somewhere. I don't know what it was. Clicking or
Still
clicking.
Clicking?
Nope. No clicking or ticking.
Oh.
We're good.
But we had a hailstorm over in Knoxville a week ago Sunday. In fact, I got a roof claim now. Thank goodness for my insurance. But yeah, it came about golf ball size hail. I mean, for a solid 30 minutes.
Really?
A week ago Sunday, I'd left. I'd actually been out here in Anderson County. Bob Seaver turned 90. I went up and
saw the Duke.
I did. Just got to see him sit with Ken Bonham and Bill Shannon, and had a great time celebrating that. But I left and went home. Man, it came a storm and a half. Did you get any in Corrington?
Bob's down at is Bob down at Morning Point? Where's he?
No, he's still home.
Okay.
He's doing good. Robbie brought him out to Wild Wings 2 months ago.
Okay.
And I think he may try to come out. I don't know if he's going to get to come this time.
Make sure he gets. Can he get up?
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. But,
well, I can't keep Mike off stage.
Yeah. Oh, Bob's fantastic. We love Bob Seaver, but the Duke.
The Duke.
Yeah, I was out here at the North Community Center and left, and boy, it came
a doozy.
Stormy. Yeah. It was. I think that's the day it was up in Kentucky. Had a couple of
tornadoes.
Yeah. In fact, Doug, my brother Doug, was up there picking up. I think he's picking up something on a trailer, and he got stuck in that, and he said it was really bad until he got to Jellicoe Mountain, but. Yeah, he didn't know the weather was that bad. There's some bad storms that day.
Well, we had good weather. Back home, Mom told me here, that they were, they had rain and it was overcast. Yeah. It was like, not here. Yeah. It's pretty here. There.
Did Russ call you yet? Did he come see you yesterday?
No, he put it. I had some appointments yesterday evening, and our wires was not crossing.
Well, he called me. He was in Lebanon.
and he called me back and said, David, I've got to go last night about 6 o'clock. He said, I've got, would it be better, I can't stay very long, would it be better if I come back Friday? I said, yeah, because I don't have nothing to do. I know of Friday. And he said, he had to go back to Nashville because he had to drive tonight.
Yeah.
Tonight. And then said, I'm going to come Friday for to stay all day. I said, well, come on. He asked Becky, he's telling me some jokes. He asked Becky, said, well, did he have anything on his calendar? And she said, no. And he said, Becky was getting ready this morning to go somewhere, and so she was looking in a mirror, and she said, I used to be pretty back when I needed to be.
I don't know if you can see that picture or not, but he sent me this. I don't know who he was driving for the other day, but he had on one of my Mayberry, straight down a Mayberry shirt.
There you go.
And I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's Russ. That's Russ on his bus. I don't know where they were headed.
Russ on the bus.
I'll tell you a funny one. A couple of years ago, you know who she is, but he called me and I said, where you at? He goes, well, I'm heading to Denver. And I said, Denver? I said, who you hauling right now? I think I bet I told y'all this, but he said, some guy by the name of Casey Musgrave. I said, well, it ain't a guy, and she's really pretty, and she can sing. And he said, yeah, and I'm going on for leaving Denver and heading to Oakland, I think it was, or San Francisco. And he was all over the place. And I think he hit snow when he got to Denver. But,
Casey's not at that. She's not at that Kenny Chesney level where she flies and everybody else rides. She still rides, I think.
She's really good.
Oh, she is good. Casey Musgrave is good.
Yesterday he was fixing to go. He won't come up to see me, and then he's going to go to California in just a few weeks.
Yeah.
July, I believe it is. Kenny's doing a tour, and he's got to drive for them.
He was telling me he was going to come up. He said, I got to come up and get my David fixed or whatever. But he may be listening. I think he listens every once in a while. So if he's listening, Russ,
he's where you hear it.
We miss getting to see you.
Maybe on the road somewhere.
We miss getting to see you on a regular basis. So
he's seen Knoxville. He come in. He stayed at his home here in Knoxville last night. Yeah. I mean, yesterday he was there, but he was leaving. He won't come out and stay till dark. He said it's because they need to leave and get back so he can sleep a little. Yeah. But I asked him how much longer he's going to drive, and he said, well, I just don't know. I'm not doing near as much as I used to, and I'm not going to do near as much as I used to, so I'll do. He said, mainly when they run out of drivers and can't get nobody, I just fill in and I go in.
Oh, is he still driving? Because Hemphill sold. I don't know if he's still driving with that same company or who it is.
Yeah, I think.
Is it still Hemphill Bus Line?
So.
Okay.
And he told me the way they do it now, he'll fly to California probably, and they'll rent, I believe it's 9 or 11 buses. However many they got in the band. They won't stay in motels. They get one of them nice buses to stay in. Every band member has a bus.
Jeez.
And they park them out there. And Kenny's, somebody drives his because it's fancy. He said it's because he wants to have his meetings and stuff in it. He flies that there and somebody has to drive his bus to every location.
No wonder our tickets are so expensive.
No wonder they're $300 a piece.
He said, now I have to sit there and drive that bus. If we leave her and go 3 states across, we'll turn the buses back in, we'll fly, turn and read. He said, I don't know how to do it, and then get them another fleet.
That's why y'all used to travel from Kaz Walker team, right?
Sure. They fly around.
Where'd you put the dog?
We were similar to that. We had a Opel, we got a new car.
A new Opel.
Brand new Opel, and it was me and Fred Munro in the back seat, and Mr. Walker and Little Red up front, and the dog was right behind us.
And where would you have put the dog on these big buses? That's right.
Oh, we had load dogs with it.
You could have had 4 or 5 dogs.
It took the whole candle.
Kaz would have had a whole bus for just the dogs.
Yeah.
So 3 of my 4 boys went to Dollywood last week, so they sent me this picture, and they said, "This is just for you, Dad." And they was at the Kaz Walker store, and they're all pointing at the Kaz Walker side.
Yeah. I was with you when they signed the contract. They could put that in there.
Yeah.
They called me,
Mm-hmm.
and he's at my office, and I told him about it, and they said, "Yeah." It's good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she
It's the
said,
sign of the shears.
There it is.
Gas Rover.
said she'd build him a store in that park up there.
She did.
Yeah.
You need to get some super.
I knew. I gotta get some stuff up to him.
You can do all kinds of stuff up there.
Yeah.
Do they have merchandise up there?
Not right now.
Did you see on TV? Did you tell me or somebody when they it's Mike West? One of the Walker dogs won something on that dog contest.
No, I didn't see that.
That the Westminster thing? Or?
That thing was on Monday when we was over at Wild Wings last
Oh,
time.
yeah.
That big dog show thing.
Wow.
He said
Really?
there it showed it right up there, the Walker dog. We need Walker dog food by all means.
That'd be good.
Gosh.
He said
Blue Band Walker dog food.
Because I was picking, but he said, "Oh man, I was watching them dogs. I watched them at break time. I sat there and watched all them pretty dogs." He said it went. I guess it was in maybe hunting dogs or the hound or something.
Yeah.
But he said it won something. I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
George Jones had a dog food thing one time.
Did he?
Yeah.
His buddy,
Devin and everything, I reckon.
George Jones Sausage. Yeah, I got to go do some stuff with them in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
In
Wow.
fact, they called me. He was going through town, and oh my goodness, I just went blank on this guy's name. Charles was the manager of the sausage division. He called me one day, and I was up in Jefferson City at a ballpark, and he goes, "Hey, I didn't know if you knew it, but George is going to be in town tomorrow night. Do you want to go over and see him?" That's when I went back there, and they got me backstage stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah, he had sausage, dog food, and everything.
Yeah.
Jimmy Dean's is probably the most famous of the brands, ain't it?
It's pretty
The
good.
food.
Yeah.
It's pretty good sausage.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people didn't know it, but what was that? Wampers?
Oh yeah, Wamplers.
Oh, yeah.
Who was that done that? That was Jim Hensley, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Jim Hensley wrote it and sung it for a long time.
Wamplers makes good
Well,
sausage.
It's great sausage made right here in Tennessee.
He's got stores.
Sausage, just say
Nice wig, you
Wamplers.
can see it.
Yeah.
He's wheeling and dealing as usual.
Yeah.
Jim, he does a lot of stuff. He'll preach for a little while, and then he'll go out and open a music store a little while. And then
Yeah. Is he from Union County? Is that who am I thinking of?
somewhere up in there.
Yeah.
He's a real good musician, very good, and he's also a good. Like I say, he preaches good, and he's a good businessman.
Yeah.
He stays on top of it all the time, but he's just he's a good all-around guy. I asked him about that one day. He said, "Yeah, he wrote it. I forget when it was way back or something. I know he done it." I asked Fred one day. I said, "Who's that singing that Wampers?" And he said, "Jim Hensley."
Huh. Yeah, it's funny those catchy jingles like that stick with you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't, just little quick jingles like that, but they'll stick with you. They get the attention, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
You know one that really got attention around here for a lot of people? And I heard a lot of people say, we go around humming that Ciderville, around the curve.
Bottom of the hill.
Very little
money
Bring a big deal. Bring
Yep.
a little money, get a great big deal. Come on down.
Ciderville.
Me and Luke sang it
Yeah.
together. We was on a talk show, and this guy told us that sing it, and we sung it. He said, I believe I like the commercial better. I said, I do too. We had time to practice.
Those are talk show commercials. Talk show.
I went up to, me and my wife went up to Country Tonight last Friday night. Boy, I'm going to tell you, Shenandoah. They did a great show.
They did.
They were fantastic. And in fact, we're going back up in 3 weeks. I think Diamond Rio's going to be up there. Are you running ads for them?
I am getting ready to. I got to make them today. Yes, I am.
We went ahead and bought our tickets. That's a nice place to go, and
it is.
Easy to park, but they did a great show. That Marty, I love Marty, man. He loves the Lord, but they did a great show. I didn't realize how many #1 hits they've had.
Oh, you know what? It's just like when Diamond Rio was there last year. They had so many they had to do. Like they would do maybe 30 seconds of one, 30, you know what I mean? They did probably 12 right there just like that because they didn't have time that they could do all of their top hits.
Yeah.
And then once you sit there in the audience, you're like, oh, yeah, I remember that. Oh, yeah, I remember that. It's just amazing how many, you know.
It was packed, too. I mean,
they sold it out or near sell out, he said. So that's always good.
We got a big thing Monday night, and if everything goes well, I'm going to get Three Dog Night to sing George of the World.
Well, that'd be fun.
Jeremiah was a bullfrog.
Now, not to be confused with George of the World, the Christmas song.
No. Here, guys. I got something for you. Hang on here. Hang on just a second. Let me see. Let me push the button.
Ciderville, around the curve at the bottom of the hill. Bring a little money, get a great big deal. Come on down to Ciderville.
Saturday, October 1st, the Ciderville Barn Dance returns with John Overton, Donnie and Patty Fox, and more of your Ciderville favorites. Doors open at 6, and the show starts at 8. $10 at the door. Saturday, October 1st, Ciderville.
That's Ciderville Music, 2836 Clinton Highway.
Obviously, that's old. I believe that's when Doug was just getting started back a couple years ago, October.
That voice sounds familiar.
It does, doesn't it?
People said, boy, it's a good jingle. Said, I hear it on the radio, and I will hum it all day long.
Yeah, that's the whole idea. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll tell you, you're talking about that when that gets in your head like that. So the other night after Shenandoah, all night long, it was sitting next to you, sitting next to me. I couldn't get it out of my head the whole night.
You sit all night with him?
No, I was singing it.
He's singing it all night.
Yeah,
he was whether you wanted to or not.
He was in my head. No, I didn't want to torture Doug.
Steve.
That's right.
Man, I always loved that Ghost in My House that he did.
That's my favorite one.
Oh, man, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they're great.
Who did it first? Did Shenandoah or Alison Krauss? Shenandoah did it first, didn't he? Marty did.
That one first.
Did he write it? Did Marty Rabin write it?
I think he did. He was talking the other night a little bit about that. I think if not, it might have been one of the band members.
He's a great guy too. He's been up here. We could have probably had him up here this time too. He's been up here 2 or 3 times. In fact, I think we got a picture of him on the wall out there. He's a great guy. He's had some struggles in his life too. He talks about a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, he's overcome a lot of adversity, deals with a lot of stuff, but still sounds as good as ever though, don't he? They sound great.
He does. He's very transparent about that, talking about how he was, you can't believe how the Lord saved him, dirty, rotten scoundrel like him.
Mm-hmm.
He sure did got a hold of him. He's got a great testimony.
Yep, he does.
Yeah, if you ever get a chance, I think they're going to be because we were going to have them at the fair this fall at Knoxville, but they are going to be in Greenville, I think, this fall.
And they can't.
Somewhere. Yeah, they didn't want to do. Yeah, they didn't want to do it. So we're going to try to have them maybe at the fair next year at the Homer Hamilton Theater.
That'd be cool. That'd be real good.
That's great.
No, I find it. Good music is just always good music. It don't matter how old it is. It doesn't matter. Like I said, when we were watching Diamond Rio, it's just you just forget how good a music it is, and it holds up over time.
The 90s country music was really good.
Well, that's why Merle is as popular as it is, because that's the hole that we fish out of mostly.
Yeah. It's just hard to beat some of the old stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Now, Travis Tritt, when we was up there for Bob Sieber here a few weeks ago, there was the gentleman up there, Dole, I think is his name, works security at the Brushy Mountain when y'all do the concert.
I don't know.
Anyway, he was telling Travis Tritt's going to be down there.
Travis is going to be up there. Yes, that's going to be a big deal.
So if you get a chance, go see him. He's really good in concert.
That's one I want to see.
Yeah.
We've brought him a couple of times. The last time we brought him in concert, we brought him to Maryville College, and he did an acoustic set.
Yeah.
and I didn't get to go to that. So I don't even remember the last time I saw Travis Tritt. Might have been at the fair. Wasn't he at the fair one time a long time ago?
Last year. We had him
No,
last
he was there. He was there before that, back in the 90s, too, when he was big. I saw him there then.
Yeah.
But, well, he still is pretty big. I say big. He just hadn't had any big hits lately, but he still has a bunch of stuff that people play all the time.
Yeah, he's really good. He's really good, and he's going to be he'll be down there. He was the biggest. I think he was the best concert we had in the lineup last year.
He's coming with full band and production and the whole 9 yards to Brushy, and that's going to be a good show.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they had a good turnout. I talked to Brian. We're lucky. I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, we started this partnership with East Tennessee Concerts. Brian Orr, up there, and he came, and I mean, we've probably, I would say, and he listens quite a bit, so he can correct me, but I would say probably 90% of the shows we've sold out.
That's correct.
Or got, close enough that he calls it sold out,
With the tourism up there, it was always a tough draw to some of those certain days, but I'm going to tell you something. If you're on vacation, you're up there in that area, and you see Diamond Rio or Shenandoah or something like that, and if they've got tickets available,
they'll
go. But it's a great venue.
I found this when we were first putting together the deal. He was like, you guys can come up here and have access to the site and get exposure. I said, no offense, and that's great. But I said, those folks are from North Carolina, and it helps me on my app, but nobody's going to drive from Charlotte to come to Hammers, So I said, that's all. He said, no. He said, next time you're up here, go through the parking lot. He said about 80% is from Knoxville, Maryville, He said anywhere from 80 to 90% every show is local.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, good. We're working then.
There was a couple from Delaware. They asked who came the furthest the other night. And so Delaware, somebody drove from Delaware. I'm sure they were on vacation and happened to see that. I don't know if they came specifically.
They did that at the Diamond Rio show, and I can't remember. It was pretty far off, but I can't remember where they were from. But it was impressive.
I always like when those people says who came the furthest and somebody drove from Hawaii. I'm like, I don't know, but
I swam a while and then drove.
When they used to have the museum of Appalachian Fall Festival, they was the guy who used to come from Alaska every year.
Yeah, every year.
Alaska.
They give me a Alaska flag and a license plate. He brought me a whole bunch of stuff. He always hit for Ciderville music to come in.
So he came out specifically for that time of year? Every year? That's great.
And he'd always come to Ciderville, and I got a dinner, a big old Alaska flag, and he brought me all kinds of stuff. He brought me one of them square blocks that
like a Rubik's Cube?
Yeah. Rubik's Cube. He brought me all kinds of things, that guy did.
Yeah.
He said, I got you something this year. I want to come to Ciderville music. He'd stay half a day with us.
Oh, that's great. All over the country. I bet there's people in all 50 states, and who knows how many countries has been to Ciderville. Oh, yeah. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Oh, yeah. I had people flying here from, they'd be coming to America, and they'd say, we're going to look this place up. And come out there and come in there. And we should have had a big thing for all of them to sign, Well,
who'd have thought going in, you know what I mean, that we'd be sitting here this far down the road and know that you had how many hundreds of thousands of people come in there.
Every day you get by life,
Yeah, you ain't thinking about that.
I remember one night, way back, I guess it was it hit me in the 60s, early 60s, whenever he was governor, Frank Clement. But see, they had the interstate open, and they stopped there coming from Gatlinburg.
Yeah.
And we was the only thing out there on the highway open. We was just open because we was out playing music.
Yeah.
We were playing music, and Daddy'd sit there with us. And we'd play another, and he'd make a sale. We'd make a sale. He'd say, just a minute, boys, I got to put a lump of coal in the stove. And everybody, he'd put a lump of coal in. Go ahead, play some more.
Kick it off.
And he come in, he said, I'm going to take you all to Nashville, get you to play something for me down there. Oh, we used to have we had a lot of stars stop in there. We wouldn't even know who they were.
I was getting ready to say, you probably had people come in there you didn't even know who they were.
Yeah, Randy Sparks off the Apple Double Gang. I got all that. They give me a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
But to me, it was, it's just another way of life. And then, look at all them shows I played, like with the Queen, the Prince, and some of them if I've got a clipping of it come out of the newspaper or something, where I saw Sonia and the main I don't know what they call him, president of Egypt. I don't know. They call him prime minister or something.
The head guy in Egypt, the head dude.
The big squeeze.
Yeah,
okay?
the big squeeze.
And there I was standing over, her and him was dancing. I was standing there picking the picture, and all that. Jake was going to write a book, and he come up there and said, I got to go through some David Earl stuff. Said he's in all through his books. That he's with us on everything that we ever did.
He never did. He never did finish it, did he?
No, he probably won't. They probably won't do it.
No.
But she didn't think it was too good idea. we had a lot of. I mean, you know, the night that the guy that owned Tupperware broke down there, and we fixed his car. It snowed. I told you about that.
Yeah.
And we'd go in and get pasteboard box and put it down and jack his car up with a bumper jack.
On the box, because
on the ice, and this guy couldn't stay after about 15 minutes at a time. He'd freeze. He'd warm up real good, and he'd go there and he got that starter off, and then we called a big wholesale company. I knew it was one of my friends that run TBK. That was a big thing, wasn't it? TBK was. And it didn't, Beck's Auto didn't have it, and he said, well, call, you know, your buddy Joe said he'll run up there or somebody to let you in. And he let us in it way up in the night to get a Lincoln starter. The guy said, I can't cut it off. I cut it off, I can't get started. And so they said, well, cut it off and come on in. So Daddy said, we'll just stay here all night if you need to. So we got plenty of coal back there, so we'll just sit up with you. So him and his wife and kids now come in and sit there.
Till he got it fixed.
Yeah, it took us about 3 hours to do all that. I mean, he had to go to Knoxville. That guy had to open up, had to go through Beck, woke him up, and then goes in. And I said, yeah, we'll go get it for you. He said, tell him I'll pay him double or whatever. But they didn't nobody charge him no more, you know. So when he gave a starter, and I forgot, I believe that guy told me that put it on. He was a guitar player. He was a shade tree mechanic, too. And he's one said, buddy, I wouldn't do it for me, but I'd do it for you and your family. He said, I'm going to go out there and put no starter on my car tonight, but I'll do it for you. And we put them boxes. I remember we stacked about three of them on top of that ice. He got it from there, and he was shaking it. He run into that stove and laid it down, and hit the coal the starter was, too, you know. So we took off and went and got one.
Lord.
Put it on there. And then I believe he told me that when that guy said, no, here you something, put $60 in his pocket, back in the 60s. That's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
That's a month's work almost.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, it come through the UPS or somebody just a few weeks later. Everybody got a big old box full of Tupperware. And I still got Mama's one of her cups.
The Tupperware.
I saw it 2 weeks ago.
That's cool.
Got one of Mama's Tupperware cups, and it was that Tupperware stuff he'd sent, but he sent bowls and stuff, all kinds of stuff. It just
That's good stuff.
The guy, it's still good stuff.
Yeah, sure is.
I mean,
But see, back in the day when they was talking about, you had to be in bid, you had to be a dealer, a mechanic, a garage, to buy stuff from a dealer like he's talking about.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you couldn't just walk off the street like you can now.
Yeah.
And buy anything you want. And that's what runs the business.
Letting them.
I could go in and buy something as good as David could and him in business.
Yeah.
And, of course, there used to be a 20-30% markup on every part. Well, see, when you bought parts, then they'd put that on your ticket plus your labor. And that got good living at it. Because, I mean, out of labor, that's what he'd done.
Yeah.
Low 2-car garage and raised 5 kids in that garage.
Yeah.
So, but, it all went, Walmart come in, they run everything.
That's just like in the music business. That's what that's kind of what Martin's doing right now, isn't it, David? They're just letting anybody buy them from Martin, or they're getting ready to.
What was TVK as a jobber when it sold to the wholesale?
Yeah.
It was a jobber. He went above the.
Yeah.
They sold to the service stations and stuff.
Right. You had to have a business license as a mechanic.
Yeah, they probably ran through Beck. I think they ran through him.
Oh, yeah.
Because
it's one of Jim hadn't had one, because he had everything else.
It's a brand new Lincoln.
Yeah.
I remember one of them that got the suicide back door.
Oh, yeah. Boy, I love those cars.
It was the 60s, I know, but it was a pretty Lincoln. It had them suicide.
Oh, yeah.
I liked it.
Those cars are pretty doors. They are.
But the people, I mean, things that's happened to people there. And Jimmy Murphy pulled in there and broke down and lived for 3 months. And he asked my dad, he said, "You own that?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I was just a little boy then." I was in the 50s, mid-50s probably, like 53 or 51 or something. But yeah, he said, I broke down. I remember he had a 38 long-nosed Packard. Oh, I thought that was the prettiest Packard ever made. Oh, 38 had straight six.
Straight, yeah.
That big long nose. Wasn't it pretty?
Oh, yeah.
38 Packards.
Yeah.
Beautiful cars right along
Yeah.
there. I don't know how many years they made that, but he had a pretty nice trailer on it. And he said, my car broke down. So that's where he went to work for Mr. Walker.
Yeah.
He said, I think that TV show, radio show, Mr. Cass Walker, said, I think I'll go up there and try to get on that. Went up there and Mr. Walker hired him, and he lived there for about another month, I guess, or two. And then Mr. Walker put him up in the house and paid him back.
How long did you stay with Mr. Walker?
Huh?
How long did he stay with Mr. Walker?
Oh, for years. Off and on till he died.
Huh.
He was working with me when he died.
Just stumbled into it and then did it for now on.
He was, I think he was renting for me when he died, maybe.
Was he?
Pretty close to it. I mean, he's going back and forth. Mr. Walker said, Fred, when have you seen Jimmy Murphy, Mr. Walker? He said, I saw him last week. Said, I was up there in a Harlan store, I believe it was, one of them stores. He said, I walked in the back and he said, I don't know, Mr. Walker. Said, there's some guy back there in the school bus, him and his family living in it. Mr. Walker went back there and said, there it was, Jimmy Murphy. He wasn't just living there, he had an extension cord plugged into my electricity. I said, what are you doing, Jimmy? He said, well, Mr. Walker, you don't care for me sitting here. Oh, no, boy. He said, I need you back in Knoxville to play. Well, we'll just drive down there and we'll just start back with you. And said, we're living in this bus. If you got a little old house somewhere, we'll find you something. Come on. He put him right back. And Fred told me one morning, he said, you know why Mr. Walker likes Jimmy so good? And I said, why? He said, he's the only fella on earth could ever beat Mr. Walker. He said he likes him because he beats him all night. And he come in and he had about 3 jingles. And he told him he wanted $50 a piece for him. Mr. Walker listened to him. I wanted something about bacon in the pan and all that stuff. Go to Cass Walker, and he used them, had them down, on cassette so he could take them, put them on the radio. And when he got through, he said, Mr. Walker listened to him. He said, how much you want for him? He said, $50 a piece. I'll give you 100 for all 3. He said, give it to me. And he looked over me when Mr. Walker offered. He said, 100 is what I wanted, but you have to get high on him. But he said, I need $100. That's what I was needing. That's the reason I did 3 of them. So he threw me down a little bit. And he while he lived down there with us, or during that transaction, he had his daddy with him too. They had a little trailer, and his daddy was with him, and all them kids. And his daddy died. And he called Mr. Walker up, and he said, Mr. Walker said, my daddy's died. Said, what can I do? And he said, well, there ain't nothing to do, but you got to call the funeral home. You got to bury him. Said something. So he said, well, I don't know no funeral home down here. And he still told him to go to Roberts. Yeah, Mr. Walker Roberts was just like that, And he said, can I tell you, you told me you recommended him to call me to call him? And he said, yeah. He called him up and said, said, I'm Jimmy Murphy on the Cass Walker show. Said, he told me to call over here and you come pick Daddy up and he'd take care of everything. I said, okay, so they took care of the whole funeral. Mr. Walker told me back, said, I had to pay for that whole funeral. I was whispering, he didn't want Jimmy upset. He said, that's how slick he is. I just told him he could recommend me calling him. So I guess he kind of met and grinned, he liked people like that. He just liked Jimmy Murphy. Yeah. He thought he was one of the great, and he was great. Yeah. He wrote some real good songs and almost made it, Yeah. He'd have some rockabilly songs that back then he drove like $3,000. Boy, had a lot of money in the 50s.
Lord, yeah.
He drove that kind of money. And, but that was so funny. Anytime he walk in, Mr. Walker hired him. Because just a little bit before he died, I know he was because we was talking about it, he was up there singing, and he's standing out there some bus, and Mr. Walker said, "There's a fella right there, he's never going to die." I said, he's not never hit a lick at a snake in his life. he pulled up. He pulled up. Mr. Walker said he pulled up this service station. He's out of gas. And said when he did, that's one of them service stations out in the country. We got the service station there on the big old farms and everything.
Mhm.
There, and said, old man sitting there in the chair, and he said, "I'm selling these plaques." He got making wall plaques, you know, and they made them out of plastifier stuff. And I'm selling these plaques. He said, "Could I trade you a couple of plaques for little guys?" He said, "No, Spitz, I don't need no plaque." But said, "If you all are needing some gas," said, "I'll let you chop out some of that corn over and work a little bit for me." He said, "Get in the car, kid. This man's talking destruction." He pulled that one on, wouldn't he? He wouldn't chop nothing. Talking destruction, he said.
Lord. Where'd he end up, David? Did he die here in Knoxville?
Huh?
Did Jimmy die? Did he die here in Knoxville, or did he leave?
I don't know if he's in Kentucky or not, but he was in this. He was working off and on. He didn't die at there, so I guess he probably maybe went back or something. I don't know. But he'd always travel in the bus a lot of times, you know. And I remember one time they had that little roadside park there.
Mm-hmm.
The guy come up and said, "Jimmy's down there at the roadside park." I said, "Oh, let's all go see Jimmy." Well, we jumped in the car and run down there. He had an old Ford Flathead bus that he's living in now. And he was sitting on a picnic table and they was cooking on one of them things. Oh, he was eating chicken and he was eating like he was at Riga's or somewhere. And I said, "What's wrong with your bus?" He said, "I don't know. I went where he done had the heads off the motor. He's tore plumb down." He said, "I think it's that throated rod." He said, "I'm turning it down and trying to get some parts to fix it with." There he's sitting with an old bus, an old 40s, 50-something model bus, sitting over eating chicken like he's in Riga's. And he said, "Y'all want to eat with us?" And we got plenty. Said, look here, all this chicken stuff we didn't eat with. But he's sitting there at one of them tables now eating. And he said, I said, "What are you going to do, Jimmy?" Because I didn't have nothing either. And I was too poor to pay attention. But he said, "I think I'll just forget this old bus. That I ain't got no money to fix it with. I'm just going to walk and call Caswalk and go back to work for him." And the next time went there that time. But there he said, I mean, he's sitting there. He wasn't more.
Didn't have worry in the world.
He wasn't even worried. About 6 or 8 kids. They all sung too. And they get them on, Mr. Walker, get them kids on to sing, you know. But I mean, that was so funny though. I thought, man, if I had a family and broke down, I just young boy.
You'd worry about it.
Family and I broke down, and his bus was all apart. I mean, it must have rolled in there, or even knocked in there. He could knock somewhere else, maybe. I thought just sit here, just parked. I gave him a pick and get a little money to fix it with, and he said, "Sitting there eating that chicken, I think I'll just go up and talk to Kaz," he said. "I'll just go up and talk to him and get me a job playing music."
And he did.
He went over there, he stayed a long time that time. And then when before he died, he come back to Mr. Walker, and because every day when we get off, he'd come to Ciderville pretty much, you know, hang out and eat with us. And we had a lot of benefits at Ciderville back then. We all eat good. We all eat good.
Good home cooking was a benefit.
Hey, and Faye used to, years ago, back in the early 80s, when Fred went down to Boots Randolph, she cooked for us every day, see, because we had a worker. We'd be on more on the barn, reach the street doing it and all. Fred was a good worker. He got to work for haul rock, wheelbarrow. He just go do manual hard labor.
Whatever needed to be done.
And he said, Faye, we had picnic tables back there, and he said, Faye would bring us out hamburgers one day, hot dogs one day, and beans and stuff one day. Mama cooked soup. But Faye would always make Kool-Aid to drink, big old jar of Kool-Aid.
Mm-hmm.
And his Fred went to Nashville, and he told me, and Boots called him while he was working there. Well, he lived there in one of our apartments, and he was working every day for me, and he called back. He told Faye, said, "I hate to go to Nashville." Faye said, "How come?" He told us all, said, you have to change friends when you go to Nashville. Said you got to get a new kind of friends so you can't have people like you all. So they don't live like us. So they don't think like us. So he called a week later and Faye said, "How's it going, Fred?" He said, "I don't know. It's not too good." She said, "Have you changed friends yet?" He said, "Yeah, they give me a batch, but I don't like them. I'm going to get another batch." He said, "I didn't call to talk about this place, but what kind of Kool-Aid did y'all have today? You know, one did be strawberry, one grape." She said, "You know, we had a surprise today." And he said, "What?" "We had tea." "Oh, I would leave before the tea come on." She said, "We had tea today."
Best day.
This old boy working there, this is true. He was helping this fellow lay block for me. They called him Hot Rod, and he was as straight as a beanpole. I mean, and he worked, they could lay 1,000 block in 7 hours, 8-inch block a day. Him and that wetland block. They had a concrete mixer now, but Hot Rod run with it, and he'd get ahead and start throwing mud. Well, when he did, he'd come time to eat. This boy was just flat as could be, and he'd eat about 8 big hamburgers.
Oh, Lord. I
never saw him. You sit there and you watch your belly start coming out. And, I mean, he looked like he was pregnant when he got up from the table. And about supper time, he was as straight as air.
He done worked it all
I never
off.
saw nothing like this boy. That guy, Hot Rod, I need some mud, boy. And he had that thing running, and he would run with a wheelbarrow and keep him in mud, and that guy could lay him. I mean, he would go, he'd go in, and he'd take an 8-inch block, and I saw him walk up to a wall. He worked with me one time laying a wall, and he said, "They're good. Now that wall ain't straight." He looked down it, and he took his shoulder and went down there and hit it about 4 places, and then you look down and it's just as straight as air. I said, "How come you can do this so good?" He said, "Well, my daddy was a mason," said, block mason, and said, "That's all I ever known."
It's just one of those things, you grow up doing it.
You're doing it. But he could take a trowel and hit it like that, and that mud would just go do, and it wouldn't fall off. He'd go just exactly on them blocks.
It's an art, ain't it?
It's an art. He could do it. He just knew how to do it. It had to be just right, though. Yeah. Little water, Hot Rod. That's too thick. That's runny. It's got diarrhea. You know what I mean? And Hot Rod would he'd always have a radio set up on top of the truck.
Mm-hmm.
You hear it all around there. Everybody hear it, you know, and it playing rock music gets real loud. Hot Rod had a car wreck and had all 4 teeth knocked out. I turned in front. But he could sure swallow them hamburgers, I tell you. Fred make great old biggins. I mean, he just choke them down. But you can watch that boy's belly come out. He just keep eating. It come out, and then you go back 4 or 5 hours later, and he's as straight as air.
One year when I was on high school, and it was on spring break, I reckon they called it, back in. And I was working, doing labor work, helping a guy build a restaurant over on Ocean Drive. And I was mixing that cement from big masons. Of course, they'd take and get a trowel full of it, and they'd spread it, and they'd take and wipe it off and sling it on the ground. "I need mud." I said, "We quit wasting so much of it, you wouldn't need."
Yeah, really, quit throwing it on the ground.
Yeah, that's what they'd do, you know. They'd break the side of it and sling it on the ground.
Yeah.
He didn't want no reruns, did he?
I watch those boys
in a big box.
Yeah. Watch those boys lay brick, you know, and when they're building those tall houses and stuff, and they run up. I mean, they take those bricks and they run up a ladder with them. I don't know how they do it. I have a hard time climbing the ladder, much less with a load of brick on my shoulder.
Yeah. Oh, Alan, he was an electrician. He done these big places like Walmart and all that, you know, commercial. And he'd come down, and when he'd get down to the bottom 2 rounds, he'd be on the 3rd one, he'd jump. He wouldn't take him nice, too. He'd jump. Oh, I mean, he worked hard and fast. And he told them boys, he said, "They're taking their time." He said, "And they listen, them 2 bottom rounds, you jump and you get on number 3. And they said, "Well, what's the 2 bottom ones for?" He said, "That's for climbing and going up." And my daddy talking about Uncle Ernie, he owned that sawmill up there where Lambert's is. He owned all that land up there. And Daddy said he'd tell his boys, of course they was older than me then, quite a bit older than me, and said, Dave started driving them old big log trucks when they had to stand up to drive. They couldn't sit down because they said them old slow trucks back then. And said he'd send them get them logs, and said he told this one boy he had, said he was rough as a cob, and he said, he had about 3 trucks or 4 running getting logs. There's a sawing that's big outfit at that time. He said, son, turn your hat around before you pull out. I don't think you're coming back. He said, they're going to drive them wide open. He said, they're going to do it anyhow. I said, I'd like for them to hurry. Turn your hat around so I think you're coming back.
Goodness.
He said, they're going to turn them up anyhow. So that's what they do.
Might as well.
These are boys.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, goodness.
I don't have anything in my house that has any kind of motor or anything else that mine haven't torn up. That isn't torn up. I think they're all torn up right now in some way, shape, form, or fashion. I've worked on go-karts more than I've worked on anything in the last year.
Yeah.
They were wide open.
I think we'll get your boys taking go-kart race up there.
I need to.
Nice way.
They need to go up there and do
They
this.
get the fever.
No, I don't want them to get the fever. That's the last thing, because that's an expensive hobby.
Yeah.
A very expensive hobby. It's expensive enough just having them at the house. I got to put right now, I got one that needs a rope. I got one that needs a clutch. I got one that the front wheels now are out of tow. You know what I mean? That's easy. I can fix that pretty easy. But the kids, Jacob likes to work on them. And so he about killed himself because he did something to the throttle. And so then when he took off and put all the way down full throttle, he couldn't get it off. He couldn't get it to release. So he said, I almost run in the river, Dad. I said, well, how'd you get it to stop? He drove it in a circle, donuts, till he killed it, till he got it to die. And I saw him, he's pushing it. I was like, why are you pushing it? It's a long story. So, I don't know what he did. So I got to get that fixed. And they broke the frame on one. Got to have that welded.
Yeah.
So they run them wide open as hard as they can go, as fast as they can go. And when that one breaks, go to the next one.
Yeah.
I get it.
You buy him a horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the great idea.
Jerusalem donkey.
It's a great idea.
I got a new baby donkey.
Do you?
Do you?
Yeah, born this week.
How many you got now?
I got 4 now, a baby and three young ones. I give a lot of them away.
And so you had 3 when I was up there.
Yeah, still got that 3, and then one had a baby. But see, I had about 8 or 10, about 12 maybe. But I'd get them up about 6 or 7, and I'd give about 3 of them away. I've given Mike, I believe, 2 or 3 or 4 or something. Another guy, so many of them. There's a lot of people like them because, see, if you got cattle, they'll keep out coyotes and bad dogs. They won't come around them donkeys.
Really?
Donkeys ain't afraid of coyotes.
Keep their brains out, buddy.
Oh, we'll kick your brains out, them things will. They're dangerous.
Yeah.
They kick you. They don't mean to kick you sometimes. I had one kick, he hit me. I was pouring up way, he hit me right there where he killed me. He didn't mean to kick me.
Yeah.
But something, maybe a fly or
Reaction.
something bothered him, or another donkey messed him up there.
He kicked at it.
Man, they got power. Lord. And I don't see how they take it themselves. They get mad and kick each other sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I mean, one of them, sometimes they hit him on the knee, he'd be walking around on crutches for a week.
Well,
I just call it.
He had Big B right there where one kicked him, a horse kicked him. Said, you'd rather stand behind that dude and he'd kick, buddy. Of course, my dad broke him mad. He took a pitchfork. He'd rather that chain, he'd kick that pitchfork and kept sticking him. He quit that kicking.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah. I had a ram do that. But, I mean, he'd back up. When he started backing up, you better get somewhere to do something. I thought, I'll break you. And I took me a pitchfork. And you can't miss. You can't get scared now.
Yeah.
You better put it right in his head. He hit that pitchfork so hard that he jerked it out of my hand. I had to run him down to get it out of his head. I mean, that's hard, but I held it like that, and he hit it and jerked back, of course, and he took off running, that fork flopping. And I run kind of, got him slowed down the corner where I could get a handle.
Well, I'd say you got a pitchfork in your head, you'll slow down eventually.
Yeah, and directly, I mean, he got, when I could walk in there, he wouldn't come around me much. He stays way around, 15,
He didn't
20
charge
feet.
you anymore then.
He didn't come back at me no more. But they're bad. The ram is. They're worse than a goat. Goats won't. they're not really destructive. They might knock you down a little bit, just more or less playing with you.
You bucked me to death, though.
But a goat can stand on. You can have, if you had a creek, a 4-foot creek all the way around your farm, the goat never cross it. You wouldn't even need a fence. You won't cross water.
Why?
But you,
They just afraid of it?
They hate water, other than drink it.
Yeah.
You look at a sheep or a cow or a horse, they get up in the morning, they lay down that mush and stuff and look awful. Not no goat. He'll stand up in the feed box, you go in there and sleep all night on it, just like that.
Because you don't want
They can walk a 2x4. They're sure-footed, ain't
Oh,
they?
yeah.
And so what I done when I fenced that in, that Ciderville, on the other side of the creek, they wouldn't go up there, see. The reason I fenced it in, I wanted them to go up there and eat that bank off.
Yeah.
Well, they wouldn't go across the creek. So, Daddy, of course, I knew what to do. Daddy said, just cut you a log or something, lay it over and lay a 2x6 or 2x12 over, and so they kept it. That's where they traveled on that. But they won't wade through that water. You won't never see one damn water.
Really?
If it rained, buddy, if he can't get nowhere, he'll stand when it's raining. It's like this.
All hunched up, huh?
They won't lay down in mud.
Won't lay down no mud. No, you won't never see a dirty goat like that. And a sheep will.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it's worse than for the sherm, because they get that old mud and stuff in them. The cow will, too. She'll lay down and go to sleep. A horse will.
Same thing with the little those little miniature goats. They're the same way.
Goats. I ain't never saw one that was any different. Being little. Mike had I hadn't heard of this before. I saw him have two. But Mike had one about a month or two ago, maybe 2 months ago now. He had two. 3 days later, he had two more. Had four.
Oh, wow.
And that's very uncommon. They say, but they do have it.
Well, there you go.
So educational.
It is educational. I didn't know that about goats.
Yeah.
Goats are bringing big money right now.
Yeah, I've got a guy just down the road from us. I don't know how many. He's got 20, 25 of them. And most of them little baby ones. He just built a fence around it. Just out down the road from me.
Those little miniature.
You sell them?
I don't know what he's doing with them.
But you and add that thrifty nickel somewhere, and they'll be after I get them goats in a hurry, especially Mexicans.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He likes to make, they say, sell.
What do they do?
They use it for food. Just like lamb, chops at restaurants, same
My
thing.
neighbors call them weed eaters.
That's what they do.
They'll even eat Cushaw.
They'll eat 10 cans or anything.
They'll eat poison vine.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And they can clean a bank off. I've seen people. In fact, there are businesses now where you rent the goats, and they come out. There's a house in our neighborhood, and it's up on a hill, and it's too steep to mow. And they've done stuff, put rock. They've tried their best to do what you could with it, but it's a big embankment, right?
Yeah.
I drove by there the other day, and I double looked, and there's chicken wire down at the road, and then went up. Like, chicken wire? And then I looked, and there was probably 20 goats up top. And so they put wire up there. They're going to eat their way down, I guess, or eat their way up. And they did. They cleaned that whole bank off. I don't know how long it took.
They'll take it down to the dirt.
Yeah.
Eat that old Cuju vine.
Yeah.
And they'll clean it up.
Poison vine, they'll eat that poison vine like it.
And then the guy had a sign down there at the road, goats by Bob or whatever it was. And then you just called them up, and they how many you need? How big's your property? How much you need cleared? Okay.
They're cleaned up.
This is a country of entrepreneurs, aren't they?
That's what I need. I need to get
them grapevines. It's a sight to
all that growth out there. It keeps encroaching this way. There's probably 100 yards that I own out that way in the growth. I need to go get me some goats and put them out there and let them clean that off. I was talking to a boy about clearing it. He thought it'd take a couple days to clear it at $150 an hour, and I was like, I think I'll just let it grow for a little while. Maybe get me a goat or three and turn them loose in there.
It's amazing what they'll do like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're clean their animal, but we I guess it was last night I ate over at, I can't think of that place over on Broadway.
Louis?
No, it's something else. Would be something else, it wouldn't.
If it wasn't Louis, it'd be something else, wouldn't it?
What's the name of it? Something.
Fountain City. I mean, you got the grill over there.
Steaks. No, they do steaks.
Litton's.
Chop House.
Chop out.
All right, there you go.
Bingo, you got it.
Ding, ding, ding. I was getting ready to go Regas, but I don't know.
You can eat. See, you can get lamb chops and stuff there. They got leg of lamb chops and them.
That's Andy's favorite dish, leg of lamb.
Yeah. I'll tell you who had the best that I ever eat in my life. And I was going over and eat. Me and Charlene, you know, the girls, she loved them over. Was that at there where Jim Fagan, where that Mexican restaurant is right now, there in South Clinton.
Okay.
It used to be what they called it. Anyhow, it was a Grecian restaurant.
Okay.
Oh, they had them things tender. A real shish kebab is lamb. If you get a real one. Now they call some of the beef shish kebab is, beef kebabs, chicken kebab, but a real shish kebab is lamb. Oh man, could they cook them? That's the best place I ever eat in my life.
Is that a Greek dish?
Huh?
Is that a Greek dish?
Yeah, it's a Greek dish.
They're the Greek
Oh,
Fest
it's
in
good
Knoxville.
and tender.
Yeah, have you ever been to the Greek Fest in Knoxville?
Mm-hmm.
I just helped the guy that's
like to
over
do
that.
that.
Well, this guy, he's supposed to give me some tickets. The guy
Let
that's
me know.
over.
I'm going to see if they got some good shish kebabs.
Well, baklava is what I'm going for.
Baklava.
Baklava.
Now, what is baklava?
It's a dessert, but it's real sweet.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an eclair. It's more of a. Have you ever had baklava? It's a really sweet, nice dessert. It's not like a cinnamon roll or anything. It's hard to describe, but it's very good. It's very good. It's a sweet.
Man, this is we need an educational grant today. We are just taking people to school.
Well, when you got it. You got it. This guy.
Sammy and his baklava, and David and his goats.
No, well, not that I know of. My mama Faust is right behind where her little farm was right behind where Clinton High School or Anderson County High School is. But we'd go in there and she'd slip buttermilk on us, and I didn't like buttermilk. And instead of sweet milk, but they had cows and stuff, so they had everything. But I made it.
If you had asthma, you'd drink goat's milk.
Is that right?
Cow's milk, it'd make you wheeze and stuff. You couldn't breathe with it.
Well, see, nobody pasteurized back then. They went to the barn every morning and milked the cows and come down there and had it for breakfast.
Yep.
Yeah. So I wonder how we ever lived.
Better.
Yeah. Well,
Better.
The water I drank was from the Bluff in Lake City. Daddy went over there, and those milk cans, those big milk cans from North Creamery, that's where our water came from. We drank and took baths in it. But
I can remember
Lake City.
I remember drinking out of the creek, drinking out of the. I think I told you that. Going up through Jellicoe, had a big pipe coming out of the mountain in it year round. We just get,
They still have it over in Lake City. That's where when I was little. That's where it was at. There's two of them. Right there, it comes down the mountain.
You just train it and go.
And there's one there in the Follett too. Going back through that old park.
Yeah, that's what I think I'm talking about. Going back up to the old 25W, back up towards Jellicoe. They used to have a little concrete picnic bench right there. We'd pull in when Mom and Dad lived in Chicago. When we lived in Chicago when I was little, we'd stop there every time going home and get water and take with us.
Well, there's one on Loves Creek.
Yeah.
Loves Creek. I used to get water down there all the time. It's lined up. I quit doing it because it's so busy.
I know.
People's down there all the time. I mean, every hour of the day, there's 3 or 4 cars sitting there, people filling up jugs and stuff. Yeah. And it's just a pipe.
Coming out of the mountain. Coming out of the rock.
Yeah, and this one down there, the one in Lake City was coming out of the mountain, but this one over in Loves Creek, is it artesian where it comes out. But I don't know who goes by and checks it and makes sure it's okay, but you think about, we're okay.
They finally built a concrete thing around this, and there's a pipe just comes out of the concrete. It continuously runs.
Feeds that creek.
It's been running there since my dad said it's running when he was a boy, because they used to ford the creek, come through there, and it was.
Yeah, see, that creek behind Ciderville, of course, it's got several springs. It starts up there in Lonesome Dove.
Yeah.
There probably 5 or 10 springs goes into it, but we had one on our property that went through into it too. And we run a pipe down to this a pump about this big. It's heavy, weighed about 50 pounds, and it's got a flap in it. It's called a ram. And when that thing hits that flap, flat and shoots it plumb to our
Yeah,
house.
you showed me that up in the barn.
Yeah.
That thing is.
You had to have a reservoir because it has to run all the time.
I don't know. It's heavy though, isn't it? It's
heavy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It probably weighed 50 pounds.
I'd say at least. I guess it has to set down in that water and hold itself down to build up the pressure.
You know, I didn't know that, but Mr. Addison told me that he went up there and painted that big picture I've got of North Dam being built. That's him sitting there painting it, the picture of him painting it. And he said that's the way they did that. They had a torpedo type thing like that. They had pressure water.
Really?
And that water go, it hit them rocks and knock all that dirt off them rocks. See them big old rocks?
They pressure wash. They basically an early way of pressure washing.
That's where they made their concrete right there out of that. You see all them rocks cut off square?
Yeah.
They made their concrete right there. He drawed a bucket, and he said that thing would go, I mean, like that. And they call it torpedoes.
Yeah.
They come out by that water pressure. They took their own water and shot torpedoes in there.
Cleaned the rock off.
Cleaned the rock off, and then the rock would fall out, and then they'd put maybe a little bit of dynamite to bust them enough to get them in a crusher. And they had two railroad tracks, a railroad track on this side of the dam and a railroad track on this side of the dam. And they'd load that rock up and come over here and make concrete out of it and take it back to the middle. And they had the cables, it'd take it over to the other place. And what it did, it sit down on the track and they just take it up and down pour however they wanted to. It's something, he shows you how to do all of it. I know how to do it, I can show you. But
sure.
The way they did it, I watched, he told me, he said, I sat there when they built that thing.
Well, yeah, the picture you've got, it's under construction. You know what I mean? So
I sat there and watched it being built.
Yeah.
They built two railroad tracks, and them big dippers looked like the back end of a big concrete truck. You know, big up there and little. And
yeah.
They made their own, all the concrete was made right there.
I didn't know that. They just took the rock.
Just reading that holes dug over in there. All that square, you know what square
I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's where they took the rock out. They had to build it where they had a lot of rock. But they ain't no way hauling all that back in them days. That 30.
I wonder how much they cut out of that. Because, you know, right now it comes down and it just straps straight off where they cut it. But I wonder how far that went out.
But that was rock that they put in the dam.
I'll be. I didn't know.
So, but I got a picture of him able to see it. I could take it back there and show you how it works. It's hard to explain unless you see it with those tracks.
Yeah. Well, the picture that you've got has the tracks on it. Yeah, that's one up. You got
them tracks and the cables. And,
yeah.
And he said
I've learned something new again. Here we go.
It's like going to school.
It is like going to school, except more fun.
Mr. Addison said it was push shove. They didn't cut it off for nothing.
Really?
And that meant nothing.
Yeah, you talk about, you know, that there's all the speculation. People fell in it, and they just kept going, and I wonder, is any of that true?
Yeah, Mr. Addison said it was true, and he told it to John Rice. I guess it's okay to tell it.
Yeah.
He told John Rice all the story. He was there when they done it.
Yeah.
So John Rice starts in getting some research on it. And he got to Washington, and they said, this has been took care of. Stop it right now. And John Rice said, he went back home.
He was doing what now?
He was doing research on it, of what really happened.
For the man falling in, and they stayed.
Ones.
They put the kibosh on it, huh? They stopped.
The kibosh right there.
He wasn't the only one fell.
They said this was paid for years ago and took care of. Closed.
Says WPA's one building.
He went to. I heard he went to. He said he went to. You know, going through the Washington book or trying to get in there where you can find out a lot of stuff, write a story back. But
yeah.
There's no story on it.
You know, in that song Highwayman, they talk about building. I don't know which dam. I can't remember. Is it Boulder? Out in Colorado, no, it's Nevada, the Colorado River, I think. I can't remember. Anyway, they talk about that, men still entombed in the concrete there. But yeah, I've heard stories my whole life about at least one person falling in at the dam, and there's nothing they could do. You know, once there's just nothing you can do. You can't get in it.
I mean, it's just bad.
See, it's just like when they built Boss Bar.
Yeah, my daddy helped
build. They built the reactor.
Yeah.
They went down 30 foot solid rock. When that last layer come off, you start pouring concrete and come back up to the top, and then you push a reactor on that.
So you
it ever got out of control,
you had
they could shut down, burn 300 foot, 700 foot wide.
So it's 300 foot of concrete?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
And it can burn that through, just if they couldn't shut it down.
No.
It's just the atom in the bottom of what it is.
Dad worked out there for a long time. He was a pipe fitter to help build that.
Yeah.
And think about that. What'd they do? 15 years work on it, and then they just turned it off right before they was done? They said, never mind, we don't want it. Now they've been talking about bringing it up to date, revitalizing it, and kicking it back up. We could use the power. But as kids, we got to go out there. They'd have a day ever so often, every year or something, where you could bring your family. And we got to go in and see that nuclear reactor or whatever it was, that big hole we were talking about. Yeah. There was a thing, they let you walk around and you could see in glass and you could see down in it. I guess everything, all the reactors and stuff are way down there, and I don't know where they were, but I remember doing that. I remember getting to go see it. It was a big deal. They never did fire it up, though. Never did, did they?
Well, now, the Oak Ridge, they did. I mean, WYSH Bar.
They did fire it up?
Oh, yeah. WYSH Bar's got 2 reactors down there.
I thought that they
now, they have one in Oak Ridge, the one they shut down.
Well, didn't they shut down WYSH Bar for a while? And the only reason I say that is because when they shut down, Dad went to the plant.
One time, and they had to go in and whatever.
Because that's why Dad ended up over at Y12. Well, for one, they drug up for a while. They went on strike for a little while. Then they come back, and then they decided to stop, and they just shut the project down, and they didn't have a start date.
They shut one down at Rogersville.
Maybe, I don't
know.
Well,
it took a lot of land and stuff to get that thing up there, and then they went through ditches. And
well, they had, WYSH Bar was 300 and something acres farm down there, and they offered to buy it, and farmer said, no, so I just built a new house down here saying, sell this. Well, we just take it. Because it's on the river.
Give you what you want.
Because, see, they had to float that reactor down the river on a barge. They couldn't hold it on the road till they finally built a trailer. We built a trailer down there. My brother, he retired from there.
Yeah.
And my younger brother, and of course he's gone now, but I built a trailer. I mean, how many axles I remember he told me they did add under it.
To get it out, to move it?
Yeah.
Those things are huge. They're like the size of a building, though, aren't
300 tons.
How do you haul something like that? I don't even.
But you see, when it
with a specifically made trailer, I guess.
Yeah, we had how many axles? But it had 4 wheels over here and 4 wheels over here.
Oh, we
on 16 axles.
We have covered the bases. We've went from baklava and Greece all the way up to nuclear energy to learning about these goats.
But it all comes full circle to Cass Walker.
It does, pretty much. It does, pretty much. Pretty much. Was Mr. Walker? We were making nuclear energy because he didn't pass away till '96, right, Mr. Walker?
If what?
I said we were already making nuclear energy.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if he had ever.
You know when they went to the moon, he already had
Cass Walker's store on the moon.
Or he was good on commercials, wasn't he?
Boy, he was.
His mind was so far out.
He knew. You know what people talk about? He was a promoter. He was all of that. But what Mr. Walker knew better than anybody in his time, I think, is what people wanted.
Exactly.
And you know what? A lot of people are afraid to say out loud what they want. Seriously, think about that. Think about people that want to vote for President Trump. Sometimes they won't say a word because they don't want the conflict or whatever. But he knew what people wanted, and he wasn't afraid to say or do it. And then all those people came out of the woodwork, and supported him and did business with him. And, like he'd say, he'd tell all the time, as long as you buy groceries from me, that's all. Every single thing he did.
He wants you to buy groceries from him, and he was a doer.
Oh, yeah.
He lived in a plain little house. He always drove a Rammer car or a little sheep car or a little Scout. Now, he moved up to Opal when I
I think the Scout outdoes the Opal. It was bigger.
Almost, it's about like a motorcycle.
Yeah, well,
and you see
I had one, my first car.
Motorcycle pulls up and 5 men get out and shuts the door.
It was like,
imagine 3 big guys. Just us 3, like that's right here.
Like how many clowns in a Volkswagen, right?
In the back seat of it. Could you imagine this right here?
And a dog.
And
the dog was right behind us, and then behind that was all instruments in her sleeping bag, clothes bags right behind that. But it was he was a guy that he really enjoyed building somebody a house or giving them some money. He'd give away stuff that he wouldn't tell. He's told me so many things in his life. And nobody really knows Cass Walker.
That's the truth.
Heart. He's a real Christian man. He was really, he done what the Lord said in all things, You be faithful over a few things, I'll make you rule over many. He got more pleasure of helping get people something to live with and feeding them. And I never will forget what that, I was in Dalton, Georgia this past week, and this guy down there, Olin Dennis, the gospel singers, used to travel with John Daniels Quartet and all. They were the biggest singers around here at that time. And his daddy, they were on the Cass Walker show, the kids were. But when they went up there, said they was having it rough when they moved back to Knoxville. They didn't have nothing. They just lived hand to mouth and said, Mother took us kids up there at the Cass Walker show, and she said, Mr. Walker said, we just ain't got nothing to eat. Said, would you let these girls sing on there and you give us something to eat? And he said, well, there's harm. Put them on, let's listen to them. He said, well, they're good, But he said, put us kids on TV show. We got to go in there. And he said, now, quick as we get off from here, we're going to go to the grocery store and get you some groceries. He said, get 2 buggies. And said, we went by and there's going to get some meal. And there's one toy. She said, just give it. No. Now, I'll sell that. I got people that buys that damaged stuff. Get you one out of the middle or get a good one. Said he wouldn't give us nothing second. Everything had to be first. And said when we got them 2 buggies full, he told one of us, said, go get another buggy. He said, now, these are kids, so they don't eat the same thing we do all the time. Said, go in there and pick out some potato chips and candy and stuff that you like now. 3 buggies of groceries. Said, here, just bring them on, let them sing a little bit. And said he started taking care of us.
Yeah.
And he asked me, said, does any of his family need anything? I'm making good money now. I wish there's some way I could help him. But he did that for people. I don't know how many people told me that. And when I was with him at Walmart, there was a line of probably 30 people to see Mr. Walker. None of them was to soap opera people. It's all to him.
Well, it just goes to show you, those people were probably more famous than Mr. Walker, but Mr. Walker had done so much for so many.
Everybody told a story where he helped them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody told a story where he helped them.
Yeah, it's true. We hear it a lot at Christmas. It's better to give than to receive, but it really is. And even if you don't have a lot of money, you can open a door for somebody or something, and I don't know, you do something. It's rare that people do nice things for anybody anymore anyway.
Yeah.
So I can understand, especially if you have the financial means to do it, where you can help people. Why not? Why wouldn't you if you could?
And if you hadn't have money, your time or whatever, just
my dad told me,
just a kind word.
Time is something you never ever get back. When you give somebody your time, it's more valuable. I used to be the world's worst that people would need something and I'd throw some money at them. Well, here's $100 or here's this or here's that, and that's well and good. And that's one thing Dad said. He said, no, it's fantastic that you do that, but your time, you get down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
When somebody needs you to stop what you're doing and come help them, that's a lot more valuable than sending them a few dollars. And it is. Put your time into it to help people. But anyway.
Many people, though, if we ain't careful, how many million people done got here in America?
Oh, there's probably about 10.
They're just coming in, and some of them is not here for a good
but
reason.
we're going to fix it. We're only going to let 2,500 illegals in each day.
A day.
Unless they apply through the app, and then we'll bring them in. This is the stupidest administration we've had in our life.
Exactly. And here's what's going to happen. People don't know this. Now, I won't be here to say it maybe, but I know from a sample of what's happened to Siderville.
My phone's already buzzing. I hadn't even got that out of my mouth, and my phone's buzzing. Somebody mad at me. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But anyhow,
that's good.
Yeah, there you go. I'm sorry, David. Go ahead.
Anyhow, what's going to happen, these people's going to get in here, and if you got an opening, they done got it now. If you got an opening in the house, they can move in. If you don't catch them, you ain't going to get them out.
No.
And what law officer is going to go if you call him to come over and throw somebody out knowing he might be shot?
No, they aren't.
They won't want to enforce that.
You can't. I mean, there's this stuff y'all. Why should you be a law officer? If every one of them would go on strike right now all over the United States, they'd show them what the law officers means to people. And the firemen, they just don't realize. I know they all make mistakes, and they all of them ain't nice. But the majority of the idea is they take care of, they're here for the people.
Yeah, it's a heart of service usually. The people that get in that have a heart for service.
And so many people told me, oh, David, Cass Walker couldn't live in these days. Why? The world, Mr. Walker ain't going to change. You might change with him. And you might put him in jail, but he's still going to tell you what he thought. He told me, he said, I can't do it no other way. He had this one person.
Checking my mail.
he had this one person, he's talking about, was going to sue him, and they offered to drop the charges if he apologized. And he said, I really meant to do it till I saw him. But when I saw him, I saw red, and I went off the deep end, and I made a lunge for a minute to catch me. I'll open up a boot factory in her hind end if you turn me loose. But, I mean, he couldn't have. I asked him one day, how's it feel to be sued all your life, Mr. Walker? He said, oh, it don't bother me none. So that's my long suit.
I'm looking for something. David Farmer brought me a picture of you and Joe Diffie. You guys did that show, and I've put it somewhere. I'm going to find it and give it to you before you go. But
I took it. I've got it.
You got it?
I took it, yeah.
Oh, well, good. Well, good. Because if I can't find it, I'm going to...
Where were we at? Here?
For Jimmy Duncan?
Oh, Coliseum.
He's playing for Mr. Duncan, I think.
Yeah, I've got
was it?
Yeah.
I brought you an 8x10 of it. It's over at the store.
Well, then he's
got it
got
on my phone here somewhere. I'll find it.
I'll have to find the one Mr. Farmer brought up here. David brought one the other day, but it's here. I'll find it.
I'd like to have one. I got me an office at the house. I'd like to have one put up. I got me a book. I started putting pictures of famous people in it,
You've got a book. How many of those photo albums do you have now?
I don't know, about 20.
Say,
Ada fixed them when she was alive. She fixed up a slew of them, and notes that people from the opera and different people had sent me. If anybody wants them, we got them Grand Ole Opry books back again at David Farmer's right-hand lady made.
Yes.
We got a bunch of them in. If anybody wants them, at $20 a piece. Boy, it's good. It's about East Tennessee music.
Yep.
And they done a lot. They got a big story about David in there, David Farmer. All the musicians here in Clinton. And they stayed a week over at Ciderville.
Yep.
Done it on all kinds of people in here that comes out there that's still alive to interview. And they got a lot of Faye and me and David and Sunshine Slim. Just a whole lot of people. In fact, David even put a little article in there about me. I got to talk to him about
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to give him his royalties.
You don't get his royalties on it.
Trouble of it is, you can't do nothing about it.
Once it's done, it's done.
But he bragged on me on one hand. He said that David didn't smoke and drink and do drugs and stuff, but he had a few other hanging. You like blonde brunettes and me?
Uh-huh. See, I'm letting you. I'm just giving you the rope, pal. I'm just sitting right here. You just take as much rope as you want. If you hang yourself, you hang yourself.
It is a good book, and the lady that did the paymaster of the Grand Ole Opry said she wrote that. And if anybody wants them, we just got a bunch of them in just a few weeks ago, so we do have them. I think they got them at Ciderville Music. I'm pretty sure they do. And Doug has opened up.
He got store back
now.
Got everything back open.
He's using everything. He got the old radio. He's got the old clock. He's got the old intercom system, the mic like this. Where you holler all over here.
All over the store?
Outside. He goes all over the store, inside, outside. In the chicken house. I mean, no, maybe not a birthday. He goes everywhere. And he was showing me he's got the original cash register.
Oh, wow.
And the original door. The door was put up in 1955, one of the first Charleston doors that I ever saw.
Wow.
Where it rolled out. No,
yeah.
It rolled well. We just leave it rolled in.
Left it rolled.
It was put up in 1955, that door was.
Wow. That's amazing.
And we got the same ceiling. They did. He leased that to somebody for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And they took the pictures out of that section and painted it, made it. It looks pretty. He's putting the pictures out slowly as he can get them all up. He's got some of them done up. But You walk in there and you look all through the store like you used to.
Yeah.
It's a real. It's just like old times now. When you walk in.
Well, good.
You just feel it.
More comfortable that way for a lot of us.
Well, you feel it. It's just like it was, you know. And,
Yep.
But anyhow, I guess we broke some up here. It's summing up time.
Did you say his business had increased since he opened it up the
Yeah, he said everybody come in and comment on it. Said they'd say, "Oh, it's like it used to be."
Good.
He said everybody comments on it, but we got. I won't tell. We got a bunch of Martins. I've got. I started thinning my Martin collection out, so I've got about, I guess, 15 or 16. You might ought to look at one or two of them, Ron, too.
I can't afford your
my
Martins.
But
The ones he keeps and puts back ain't the kind of me.
I got low all the way up. You don't have to get.
You just stay at the low. I ain't got the all the way up.
Wear the hip boots. Just bring you some flip flops.
Okay.
Get your feet wet.
Get my feet just a little wet.
These are still in boxes. Hadn't even been took out. And Russ is coming tomorrow to look at some.
Uh-huh.
At these ones.
Well, now Russ has got big money. Russ can afford that stuff. I can't.
He said, I can't afford all of them. I said, well, you can buy some if you want them, because you'll never get them. I'm selling them at cost.
Well, then I'll come look at it.
And I mean, you'll never buy it that way again, ever in your life.
No.
Because costs went up this past year.
You still got the half and half.
No, wait. No.
You done sold it?
Oh, yeah.
The one you
I
like?
know what you're talking about. Half guitar.
Half D28, half, what was it?
Half of 18, half 28.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll keep that now.
See?
You know, I mean, money could get it, I guess, but it's going to be high. Probably find one on the internet cheaper. And I've got one of the authentic skin-up models.
Yeah.
And I've got the Ciderville model that they painted for me. Don Bell had painted for me. And I've got the Cowboy.
Gene Autry? That
The little one.
Okay.
The little one. Like a used Gene.
Yeah.
Used way back in the old days. And I got of course, I've got Roy Rogers and Gene Autry in the same size. And Willie Nelson.
Okay.
But it wasn't.
You still got one of the Willie Nelsons?
No, it wasn't a good one.
Not the Brazil or?
No.
Okay.
$10,000-$20,000 one. It's probably $20,000 now.
At least.
At least. I'll tell you one bringing the bucks, too, is Old Hickory.
Oh, shop.
Woo.
I mean, every time he says that,
Goodness.
he tried his best to sell me one 10 years ago.
If we'd had that thing, I wish I'd have kept 5 of them.
Lord.
But I just had to sell them because I'm getting old, too.
Breaks my heart.
It's like Daddy said. He said, don't worry about this stuff, David. You're going through your time section. That's not going to leave. I mean, these people are fighting for all this power and money and Washington. They
Goes away.
ain't going to have it long.
Blink of an eye.
I mean, why do you want to push yourself to get something? That's just like I tell them. I say, I don't want to learn nothing new. I'm just trying to get used to what I already know and work it and appreciate it. Somebody called me yesterday from down in Georgia. What are you doing? I said, sitting here in my swing, and I got a sign that said David's office. He's here sometimes. and it's John come in and bought him a banjo the other day, John Alberts.
Mm-hmm.
He said, hold this banjo. It's a David Western.
Okay.
Real good David West.
Yeah.
Maybe about 10 or 12 of them, or 6 or 8. I think it may be 1,200.
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't keep me one. And I had this one. I thought about keeping it. I said, no, I'm going to let John have it. And when I did, I'm sitting there swinging. There sits a receipt book where I had to turn in to my bookkeeper and all.
Sure.
You know, so whatever you make a payment, I just take it right there and then turn it into him.
Sure.
And he said, I've never saw nobody's work out of his swing. And he wanted a picture that he thought that was so. He started laughing and said, this is interesting, just the way you live. But
it's good work if you can get it, Dave. Good work if you can get it.
You got the museum. I got the Coca-Cola and what's the museum?
Shoney's Big Boy and Coca-Cola and Jadeite and
Blue Boys.
Yeah.
Angel Mama. I got a load of Angel Mama. And then we got the Mickey Mouse's horse.
Oh, yeah. Disney and Coca-Cola and, Christmas.
I got somebody was in there that we know, I forgot who it was, and said they remembered in the school days that they they didn't have stuff. They put the only thing they done for our school or where when I was a kid went to school, they had this great old big policeman. They set it out in the middle of the
road,
divided roads there.
the medium, yeah.
School zone. You remember that, Howard?
Yeah.
A great old big tall, his life size. And it had Coca-Cola on the bottom. Coca-Cola furnished them for him. And it said, drive slow, thank you, or something. But anyhow, that policeman said, school zone. And you better obey him when you went through there because there'd be a cop watching for you.
You see, Bradley Reeves had Dolly Parton stop by the museum, the East Tennessee Historical last week.
Yeah?
She was in town.
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't know if it was the Kaz Walker stuff or what she was looking at. It might have been some of your stuff.
Yeah, probably. I give them a lot of
But
stuff.
she stopped by downtown Knoxville last week.
Well, there's probably a lot of her in it. I've never been.
Yeah.
You know, I've not been to it.
I went with David one time in there for some event. The only time I've ever been in there.
Did you go there and listen? You see the movies and stuff? Or?
Yeah, we went to, I think it was something for Kaz Walker we did. This is 15
Well, see, they had the
years
Kaz Walker movie, and then they had the Bundle and Buster movies.
That's what it was. I think it was the Kaz Walker was one the first time I went. I think that's the only time I
And then you go in there and push, you know, where you push your buttons and listen to stuff. And this little boy was sitting there listening to it, and I thought, oh, what's on there? My first time in there. He looked at me and said, that's you. Just walked off. I was listening, they was playing that, and then I wrote their song, or they used it for the music, was Appalachia Dream.
Yeah.
And that played, but first when you went in, you had the Bundle and Buster show in one little theater type, and then the next one you went to the Kaz Walker. But they had seats for the Bundle and Buster and different one, but, you know, in Clayton shows, but I was on all of them. Sometime or other down through there. And I was on the big furniture show that Tommy Covington, he was big in music, and he had the furniture hire. They sold furniture at an auction way back, and I was on that with at that time I was I forget what them boys. What was them boys that followed it called? Blue Valley Boys, wasn't it?
Oh, Jerry's, those guys? I think so.
Blue Valley. That was
Big Blue Valley or Big Valley? I don't remember.
Blue Valley. Yeah, was that? What was that good disc jockey up there?
Oh my Lord, Elmer.
Elmer.
Yes.
Elmer Longmire.
Elmer Longmire.
And the Blue Valley Boys.
And Elmer Longmire and the Blue Valley Boys.
Yeah, I worked with Elmer.
And they did the show up on WLAF.
Yeah. And they did a TV show when they sold the furniture way back, and I hired me as a banjo picker. And Monroe Queener as a dobro player. That's how I guess I got acquainted with him or knew him. Well, he used to stop there when we worked for State to stop and pick some with us, I guess, maybe. But then he came to work with me in around 70 or 71. It's on backer, I guess, that. But he was with me 17 years. And he's sitting there one day looking at me. We was fixing to go out and do some shows. And he said, I'm just sitting here looking at you, David. I've been more miles with you than I have my own wife. And then we'd do 300 shows a year, 350 size we got, I think, maybe somewhere in there. We had a lot of shows. And anyhow, I guess they're about all gone. I think everybody on the Kaz Walker show, I believe, the only thing that's alive is three banjo pickers, me and Bud and Larry.
Wow.
And then Dolly and
Poker.
Glory Bell might be.
Poker. We think.
I don't know whether they lasted long enough to be a regular or not. I'm talking about regular.
Oh, regulars. Oh, okay. I thought
See, I was on there,
made an appearance.
I was on there 9 years, and
Well, Claudia's still around.
Somebody figured out. They said, "How many times you play a week?" I said, "5 times a week. I'd get 4:30 every morning." And it was 20-something hundred shows I did on the Kaz Walker show, plus all the extra stuff he had me do. 20-something hundred on the TV every morning. You think, in Bonnie and Buster, I still make year, and I done hundreds and hundreds of shows them.
How did they archive those? I mean, I know there's some footage of it, but they didn't archive them like have a library of every show and dated it and all of that at the time.
David's got you got the Bonnie and Buster tapes.
I got
all everything.
28 of them, ain't they, or something?
How many? I don't know, but quite a few.
A slew of them. The state paid for them to have them translated.
Okay.
They put them in archives.
They baked them to save them, and then they transferred
the biggest portion of them.
Yep.
2/3 of them, or at least. And from the time that they had filmed them, see, they used to make spools this big,
Oh, yeah.
Little big 12-inch spools, and they send one out. We did one every week. They send one out because, see, they had 28 states of television. And after they started getting them, of course, they had known it didn't start with that. It might have started with 5 or 10, and then they started shipping one out. I didn't come into they had the 28.
Who had the rights to it?
White
Was it Kaz Walker or was it WBR? I mean, who
David's got the
It's BIR. Bonnie Buster started. When I started then, there's BIR.
I didn't know if the TV had
67
the
or
rights to
67, 8 is BIR.
People
Maybe.
love to have those things. I love them. I mean,
69, they were still.
Well, we've got the DVDs. I mean, we've got DVD. How many different? 10. We've got 10 or 12
About 15 or
total different volumes with more than one show on.
need to run them.
Yeah,
Show them.
Yeah, he
show 'em
needs
again.
to-
that would be
People
good.
take-
Yeah,
people kick out.
he's selling them. So he got.
That's what I do. I ought to get with Brad. We ought to get with Brad and run a show a week and then sell the DVDs over there on BBB.
Yeah. Get you an advertiser to do that sponsor.
Ron's got Superderm saved now.
We got.
Fix an
You
apple
need it, we
off
got
the
it.
You got that. If you got any ale, just call him and he'll grease you up.
I've got some ales.
Mr. Walker, buddy, I saw him take a knot as big as your finger off his head right there. And I saw it every morning. He said, I'm going to take this knot as big as a pencil eraser right there on his head. He said, I'm going to take this jar of super and I'm going to put it in here and you watch me get it out every morning. And he rubbed it real good. I mean, he put a bunch on it. He rubbed it real good and it started going down. It went away within less than 2 weeks. Now, that's the truth. I saw it happen. I was there, so I guess I would know. But anyhow, let's get back on this Martin collection because I need some money.
Did Dolly play Martin?
Yeah.
But she had a bunch of fancy
I think she
guitars
played some
now.
Martin too. I believe she
I
did.
bet she does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Elvis played
nails.
Martin too.
Yeah.
Elvis played Martin, you know.
Oh,
He
I
played
didn't know.
Gibson's too.
I was going to say, I
Martin
thought he
Gibson.
played Gibson. I didn't know he played Martin. That's
Yeah.
cool. I bet that's an expensive guitar. One of his.
I've got one I want you to see, Ron. You may want this one.
What is
It's
it?
a Gibson. I think you want it. It's something. Hit what I got in.
I'm afraid to go over there. I swear.
Bring your checkbook.
I'm-
If I got a it's your
Checkbook ain't got nothing in it. We
You
have
know
to
what I-
horse trade
you know
on
what I got to
something.
say to you? It's your lucky day.
Mr. Haney does.
Boy, he does. I've heard those words
It's
before.
your lucky day.
It always ends up with me with 2 more guitars. Too.
He's like Russ said last night. When he called me, he said his friend had to go to the doctor, and he said, did he find out what you had? And he said, oh, yeah, he found out what I had. And he said, what'd you have? He said, $300.
And that's about it.
So,
Amen.
I got to find out how much Ron's got here. So,
You're going to be gravely disappointed, my friend.
this guy used to come to Sodaville, and he had a music store, and he'd buy a lot of stuff from me, mostly used stuff. He'd buy back in we was cooking. I mean, we sold it. Lord, we sold. Some days we sold 50 instruments a day, which was big, you know. And he said, and he's about $10,000 worth. And he said, I don't know how he knows exactly how much money I walk in here with. I don't even show it to him. Said he
Gets every bit of it.
I believe he can just feel how much I got. He said, I want to tell you, I got a little more, but you ain't gonna get but 10,000 of it. So this guy coming up had a Z28 Chevrolet. And I wanted
A Camaro. That's what you need, a
D-top.
Z28
Oh, I thought
T-top
I needed
IROC Camaro.
I thought I needed.
Yeah.
I asked him why he was selling it. He said, I'm going to sell it at the car lot. He bought him a big new green Lincoln. Boy, it's beautiful. He said, because I've done got 3 speeding tickets with it, and they're going to take my license if I get any more. He said, it's got to go, because I can't drive it slow. You push it, touch it, and it just runs out of money.
I know the feeling.
So I got it. I didn't get no tickets because I didn't even need it. I just wanted something sporty out there, I guess. I had other cars and trucks, driving vans and stuff. And he said, I said, how much you want for it? And he said, I want $14,000. That's what the car lot's going to give me. I said, I'll trade you $14,000 worth of instruments for it. So he said, I'll take some of it, but not all of it. And when he totaled it up, he like $1,300 him. The whole $14,000 took up on what he wanted because he got some high price stuff. So what I done, I just bought the stuff and put paid the sales tax on, put it in there, and traded with him. And I owed him $1,300. He said, good night, $1,300. I better get out of here. I'm going to be borrowing money from you. So he owned a newspaper company somewhere off from here, and he said, I just can't believe he's got, because some of them he ordered, I didn't even have.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I spent $13,000, this guy. He said, let me get out of here.
That's a lot of money.
Give me my $1,300, I'm leaving. He said, so I went and gave him $1,300.
What'd you do with the car?
But, you know, it don't take long to have a bad habit when you get marked.
What'd you do with the Z28? Sell it?
I sold it. I drove it about 2 years and sold it to some girl. Her husband wanted it. His wife wanted it. This young, real young. It fit them better than me.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I bought. That if I drove it, I wouldn't have had it. But Howard was with me when I bought it. About a few years ago, I bought that T-Bird. You remember it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, from John Jarnigan.
It's still. They bought it when it was about new, and it was a show model.
Yeah.
It had the extra back thing on it. That what do you call it? We use spare tires back there.
Yeah, the big fender fair.
All that extended.
Yeah.
Bumper stuff.
Wheel well or
had
whatever.
Both tops with it, and they'd had it since. They'd had it as almost new.
Brand
when they got it.
new.
Yeah. And I bought that thing. I couldn't get out of it half time. I mean, I didn't know I got too old for them cars. We got it going, you know, ready to go. He drove it in here, but I got in, going to drive it. My head was touching the top. I was sitting on the ground, and I thought, man, I can't drive this.
You're too big for it.
You know? So I finally squeezed around, got out of it, called his brother, Doug. Doug went on the internet and dumped it for me. I mean,
sold it for
me.
Still out of North Carolina.
This is kind of a strange thing.
It's a pretty car.
Yeah.
It needed.
Oh, yeah, that had them white walls. It didn't even need painted.
It's black. Black, wasn't it? Yeah,
black
beautiful.
and white. And this guy come in. Doug said, David, I've got a guy who won't look at that T-Bird. And I said, well, you know what, take it short to him. I was busy. So, and he called me and said, David, this man's made us a good offer. I think we better take it. It's going to be good for you. And I said, okay. We made some money, so. But when he pulled up, he had a brand new 4-door, one of them pretty good sized trucks. And he just looked at it. He didn't say that it run or nothing. He said, more like I've been wanting. Here's what I'll give you for it. I forgot what it was. But anyhow, he said, here's the money if you want it. And Doug said, well, how you ain't you going to hear it run? He said, no, I don't care. I want it. I'm going to have it redone brand new. And he said, well, how you going to take it? He said, well, I'm going to go over and get a U-Haul flame up.
Trailer. U-Haul.
So he come over and we waited. He went and got that. And when he did, he backed up and said, can y'all roll it up on there? He said, no, we're going to drive it up on it. Runs. Doug drove it up on there and cut it off. And he said, had some money and away he went. It's North or South Carolina?
North Carolina.
North Carolina. Bought that thing. Boy, it was nice. Man.
It was nice. It's a pretty car.
Oh, you couldn't. I'll tell you something I wanted. I drove it one time.
Didn't their papa own that?
Huh?
John's papa owned that, didn't he?
Well,
I know his dad
owned it.
Yeah.
I bought their 44 dollar showroom up there one time.
Yeah.
Saw it, bought it. I bought a lot of them out, like I said, won't. But most of them I like. But the two things I guess I bought an all train one time in Vivid. You know what they are?
Yeah.
Run out the water. This guy found me a brand new, and there's a dealership here in Tennessee. I got it. I got on that thing, and it was like driving a bobcat. You hit a chug, you jump up out of the seat. You had a seatbelt, you killed yourself in it. I took it to the lake and got in it, and had lake driving target. You just go off the bank right into the lake, you know. I went off the lake and got that thing, and you had to holler it as you could. It made so much noise. Oh, it's good for kids, I guess, or young boys. It wasn't good for old men. And my mama was in there. She said, now that thing will get you killed. And I thought, you're right.
Get rid of that.
Then on a dump truck, and I got a dock down there while I just run out.
Mm-hmm.
Went off and out in that water. And it run pretty good in water. It wouldn't go real fast because it had big old cleaty tires, but it'd go.
Yeah.
I got it back up there, and I said, boy, I'm hooked on this. I bought it straight out cash. Or check. And I said, I didn't know you had to have a title for it, and they gave me a lot of paperwork. It's a title like a car or something, you know. And I put it on that truck, and I wouldn't take it off. I said, somebody's going to get this thing. And I found a Chevrolet coupe over in Maggie Valley. I was having a car show. And I told that guy if he'd give me what I had in it, I'd buy that car. And he took it. But this is funny to hear him tell you to talk real slow, real slow. And I wouldn't let him drive it up on the car haul. I was afraid to run over top the cab. That thing would get away from me. I said, here, I'll just pull it up on there for you. I took him a ride. I didn't let him drive it. I took him a ride around it. I noticed when I bought it, they took me in a great big parking lot and turned me loose in it. And I thought, well, I'm a good driver. I could back that thing out of here. And he said, I'm going to take you where we can go around and see it. It was okay on that parking lot.
Yeah, we ain't got nothing to hit.
I got up there in the hayfield, and it was okay there, but it wasn't okay nowhere. If you got close to stuff, you might buy it. So anyhow, I was driving that guy around, and he said, okay, I'll just trade with you. And he done dumped it. Boy, that's a slick little Chevrolet coupe. And I pulled it up on her, and he said, where's your title at? And I said, I don't know if I have a title. He said, yeah, you paid tax and everything on it. He said, take it over and they give you a title and call me, and then I'll come get it, because Faye's a notary. She just notarized him to bill sales, see. About 2 weeks, he come back. I called him. I said, I got your title. When he come back, it's so funny. I said, you still got it? He said, no, sir, I'm selling it. I said, how come? He said, well, I took it home, jumped on it, and I barely got it off the truck, got killed myself. He said, I jerked her in gear, my wife. I said, honey, man, you can ride on the water on this. Said, I mashed the gas. That thing went around the house before I couldn't get all the buttons stopped and everything, and I tore down 3 flower beds. He said, I run over a hedge bush. I tore down 3 flower beds. She said, I believe it's best we get rid of this, don't you? And he said, yeah, I parked it. I didn't get in it anymore. I sold it.
Yeah, they drive like a dozer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard to drive.
I got to get out of this time. Go. I want you to come over and look at this selection that we got. Doug's got a big show on Saturday night, a karaoke show on Friday night. This music store is opened up the old way it used to be. Go over and see him. He's got Martins in there, glory. But I'm going to sell this collection. If anybody wants them real cheap, call me and come over. Because the ones I got, I need to liquidate them.
Gotcha.
Okay?
We'll do it.
And Wild Wings Monday night.
This Monday?
It's Monday night.
Okay.
What are you doing?
I have no idea yet.
Now, don't you get sick on me.
Well, last time I got sick, I hope, good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise.
I hope you can get off. Come over. Rick's wanting to see you real bad.
I want to see Rick, too. We need to get Rick back over here, too. He needs to come be on the radio.
He'll come back.
Yeah, we'll get him.
He said, I want Ron to come over and see his band one time. We got a hot band that we're born.
Good.
Great band.
Good.
And,
6
better people.
Good band, better people.
We got Grand Ole Opry, old folks.
Hey, that's as good as it gets.
The best.
There you
okay, we'll get to see you next time. We're 30 minutes overtime. Let's get out. Y'all on 11:30.
See you, boys.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to AM 1380 WYSH and Ask Your Neighbor. Make sure you tune in at 10 a.m. each day, Monday through Friday, right here on AM 1380 WYSH and BBB TV 12. Or listen live online at WYSHradio.com. And remember, if you have a question, comment, or problem, call in tomorrow and ask your neighbor. Or email from our website. It's Ask Your Neighbor. Thanks for listening.
Let's see. Slippers? Nah. Necktie? No.